Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. Let's get this in here the right way. There we go. Good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler Virtual Book Club, the Let's Talk to Cutler YouTube platform, the Let's Talk to Cutler. Let's spend these 1,800 seconds together on this Tuesday. It is the 1st of July, and we are halfway through the year, you all. We're halfway through the year. It's official. We have officially completed 6 months, and I don't know about you all, but I am absolutely delighted, absolutely grateful, and thankful that I've made it halfway through this year. Of course, with me making it halfway through the year, it means that I've celebrated a birthday. As you all already know, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I've celebrated another birthday, and I finally reached the milestone age of 60, and I'm so thankful, so delighted. But we are now in the month of July, so I get a chance to celebrate all of the wonderful people in my life who were born in the month of July. If that's you, go ahead and give yourself a shout out. I know my mother's one, my godchildren, cousins, and so many other people born in the month of July. So I do celebrate you, and I will be celebrating you throughout the month. But if you just wonder what this platform is about, I'll tell you. If this is your first time, if you're catching the replay, or if you're catching me live for the first time, this platform is about inspiration. It's about motivation, and it is about challenging ourselves to show up our best self, even in the worst of situations. From time to time, we have conversations that are motivational, that are inspirational. But again, from time to time, we have a conversation that talks about, how do I challenge myself? How do I push myself? How do I get myself beyond where I am, so that it is routine for me to show up my best self, even in the worst of situations? What does that look like for me? What does that mean for me? You know, that's one of my sayings. What does it look like? If I'm talking about making a change in behavior, if I'm talking about making a change in my character, or making a change in how I show up, how I respond, the question is, demonstrate what it's going to look like. And so that is why I will ask people from time to time, what does that look like? And again, when it comes to getting to this place where I show up my best self, even in the worst of situations, what does that look like for me? It means that I may need a challenge from time to time. And of course, I'll talk about that in more detail in a moment, because I do have a few things. I think this evening's conversation is going to be a bit of a challenge for us, but there's some motivation in there, some inspiration there as well. Hey, if this is your first time, do me a favor and go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe. And after you subscribe, click on the notification button. I don't know where it is on your particular device, but wherever it may be, whether it's down there, up there, over there, wherever it is, go ahead and click on it. And then it lets you know whenever I've gone live and whenever I have uploaded new content. Well, happy half of the year to everybody. I'm going to do a shout out to the LTTC VIPs in just a moment. Those are the people who show up first that I see. I see some of you are still there, but you're online, but you haven't made your way into the chat room. Come into the chat room and say hi to everybody, so that we can see you and say hi and know that you're here, know that you're with us, and know that you are actively participating in the conversation. What I'm going to do is shout out now the LTTC VIPs, and they are Annie Cutler, who says, "Let's ride." She starts these segments by saying, "Hey, get aboard. Let's ride this train. Let's have this wonderful conversation." And then there's my good friend Queen Nita, who says, "Grand evening to everyone." Grand evening to you, my friend. And then, of course, there is Paula D, who says hello to everyone. So hello right back at you. And those are our 3 LTTC VIPs for the evening. Well, it's July 1st. What are we going to talk about? I have been in celebration mode, just celebration of life, and celebration of and being mindful, and being in a space and a place of gratitude. And the last time we chatted, I chatted about there's some things that we should not like about ourselves, procrastination and comparing ourselves to other people, all of those sorts of things. But as the week went on, as the week moved on, I was thankful for people who were in my life. And then I did some real introspective kind of thinking and looking. And I said, while there are some things in our lives that we have to dislike so that we can improve upon them, there ought to be some things in our lives that we like as well. And as I thought about that whole construct, knowing that there should be some things in our lives that we like, I thought, how often is it that we are so focused on what we don't like? We are so focused on what's going wrong until we miss the moment to exercise self-love and self-care and self-compassion. And I wanted to just have a conversation this evening and just ask us, are we loving ourselves? And here's the question: are you loving yourself? And for the sake of those who are catching on and will catch this replay, you all, I would love it if you could be as participatory in the chat as you possibly can, because I know that there are a lot of people who are just going through life and they're allowing life to just happen, and they're not really cognizant or conscientious as to whether or not they really are practicing self-care and self-compassion and self-love. And so the question that I pose to to those of us who are here this evening is, are you loving yourself? Are you loving yourself? Are you practicing self-love? What does that mean? Again, what does that look like? What is self-love? Self-love is really the whole notion that you appreciate yourself. You appreciate the fact that you have worth. You recognize that you have worth. And so you appreciate your worth and you're concerned about your well-being. And it gets to the point where you realize, you know what, I have to make sure that my behavior is consistent with prioritizing who I am. It means that you have to prioritize your needs, whether they are physical needs, psychological needs, emotional needs, spiritual needs, educational needs, financial needs, or whatever those needs are. It means that you've gotten to a point where you are prioritizing them, and you're prioritizing those needs in a space where you accept fully who you are. You accept yourself, you accept all of your flaws, you accept all of that. And what you end up doing is treating yourself as if you would treat like you would treat your best friend, which means that you treat yourself with kindness, you treat yourself with care, you treat yourself with compassion. The same way that you would treat your best friend or someone who's near and dear to your heart, it means that that is how you're going to treat yourself. That's how you're going to treat yourself. And that's what self-love is all about. It means that there's this acceptance of and kindness toward who you are. With all of your flaws and frailties and imperfections and all of those things, you fully love and embrace who you are. And you treat yourself with the kindness and respect that you would treat other people. It means that you acknowledge that there are needs in your life, and your behavior and your actions are congruent with trying to make sure that you work to take care of the needs in your life. It means that you practice self-care and self-kindness and self-compassion. It means that you practice understanding toward your own self. It means that you learn to forgive yourself. I'm just defining really what self-love is. I haven't even gotten into how we find it difficult to practice self-love. I'm just really talking about what it is, because it means that you are making choices that are important to your well-being, that are important to your health, that are important to your happiness, and you're setting boundaries where boundaries need to be set, and you're making sure that you're very discerning about who you let in your life and who you let inside of your space, and making sure that who you guard your heart and your mind and your soul. It's about making sure that you enjoy showing up each day. It's not about the destination, but it is about the journey, making sure that I enjoy the journey. I enjoy showing up from day to day, from week to week, month to month, year to year, even hour to hour. And so it's not about focusing on a destination, but it's about enjoying the journey of where life has taken you. And that's really what self-love is all about. And what is interesting is that we don't stop to ask ourselves, am I taking care of me? Am I practicing self-love? So I want us to be very deliberate and very intentional. You don't have to necessarily put it in the chat unless you just want to. But the first challenging question I would ask us this evening, you all, is, are you practicing self-love? And on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being poor and 10 being excellent, you have to ask yourself, to what degree do I practice self-love? You can put that in the chat if you want, and you can just make a note of it yourself for a conversation that you need to have with yourself. Do I practice self-love, and to what extent, to what degree do I engage in or practice self-love? Because that is going to be the segue for this next part of the conversation. Based on how you rate the degree to which you practice self-love, then the question is, why is it so difficult for some of us to love ourselves? Why is it so difficult for some of us to love ourselves? Have you ever met people, have you yourself been guilty of being able to love everybody and everything else except for yourself? Then the question becomes, why is it so challenging? Why is it so challenging? Thank you, those of you who are putting the degree to which you practice self-love. I'm interested in seeing those numbers on a scale of 1 to 10. To what degree do you engage in self-love? And the question becomes, why is it so difficult to love yourself? Because I'm wondering, have you ever met people, have you yourself ever been so engaged in being able to practice love towards everybody else except for you? Why is it so challenging for us to love ourselves? Sometimes it is challenging, you all, because we focus on our flaws. We focus on everything that is going wrong. We focus on everything that seems to make us unworthy. And we end up comparing ourselves to other people. And I talked about all that stuff last week. We engage in negative talk about ourselves and about others, but more importantly, we engage in self-talk about negative self-talk about ourselves. Sometimes we just get tripped up on past experiences. And the truth of the matter is, you are not your past. We all have a past, but you are not bound by, chained to, and shackled to your past. You are the sum total of your experiences, yes. Your character is built based on your past experiences, but you are not the flaws and the failures of your past. I need somebody to get beyond that. I need you to understand that you are not you are not the failures of your past. It's we focus on we focus on the small details that seem to make us imperfect. We focus on all of that. We focus on our shortcomings, what we didn't get right, how we missed the mark. We focus on all of that. We acknowledge all of those things. And we fail to acknowledge our strengths and our accomplishments and our successes. We focus on what I didn't get right, what I did wrong, how I could have done this better, how I could have improved on this. A couple of weeks ago, in the midst of my birthday celebration, I had some wonderful and amazing friends who just did, I mean, they executed and performed like they were on Broadway. Like they were on Broadway. And what I realized is that for some of them, they would have stood back and watched someone else do what they did, and would have considered it sheer perfection. But then I find it interesting that in some settings, I could have had some friends who perform just like them would have said, "Oh, well, you know, I don't think I did well at all. I think I could have done this. I think I could have done that." Now, in my mind, they all were absolutely wonderful. But I wonder if in their minds they were as wonderful as they were in my mind. Isn't it interesting how someone can do the exact thing that we do and we applaud them? But when we do that very thing, we critique ourselves. And not only do we critique ourselves, but we criticize ourselves. We focus on our flaws. We focus on our shortcomings. I could have done that better. I went flat on that note. Yeah, I was sharp on that note. I mean, we just engage in negative self-talk all the time, and we end up comparing ourselves to other people. That's why it's so difficult for us to sometimes love ourselves, because we focus on our flaws, we focus on our failures, we focus on our shortcomings, we engage in negative talk. We do all of that. We compare ourselves to other people. We give in to societal pressures. We give in to cultural influences. We do it all the time. These social and societal norms have almost killed some of us, to the point that we discourage ourselves. We are our own self-saboteurs, sabotaging our hopes and our dreams and goals. Sometimes before we can even complete a dream, we've killed the dream. Sometimes before we can even express a hope, we've annihilated the hope. And we get caught up in these, we get caught up in the cultural message that says you shouldn't think so highly of yourself. You have to make sure that you don't do X, Y, and Z. But can I tell you this? Self-love has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with being arrogant. Self-love has absolutely nothing to do with being a narcissist. A narcissist. Self-love has nothing to do with narcissism. It has nothing to do with arrogance. It has nothing to do with being conceited. It has nothing to do with self-absorbed. It has nothing to do with being self-aggrandized. It has nothing to do with any of that. People will cause you to change your perspective of self-love, and they want you to see it as being arrogant or conceited, because there's something about you when you love you that intimidates other people. I need to say that again for the people in the back. Sometimes there's something about you when you begin to love you that can intimidate other people. And so then they want to put a label on it and cause you to cower. But I posted some time ago, stop cowering and don't allow people to lock you in a box when you were made to be displayed on a mantle. You were created to be displayed on the mantle, on the shelf, not to be tucked away in a box because somebody is intimidated about you when you love you. Sometimes we allow past experiences, past hurt, past trauma, past all of those things. We allow those things to inhibit our ability to love ourselves. Cutler, why are you spending time with that? I'm spending time on it because I need to call those things out. Why don't I love myself? Maybe it's the past hurt, the past trauma, the past X, Y, and Z, whatever it is, the past neglect, the past abuse. And they have an impact. Those things are real, and they have an impact on your ability. They will prohibit, they will inhibit your ability to love yourself and to see that you are worth loving. They would distort your ability to see that you have value. And they create these deep-seated beliefs that you're not worthy, that you're not enough. And it creates this negativity thing. And then why else do we find it difficult? Because because I made all those mistakes, because of what went on in the past. And sometimes you are not even to be blamed for the things that happened in your past. But what do? You don't forgive yourself, when really it's not even up to you to forgive yourself, because you didn't cause the stuff. And we hide in all of those things, sometimes past mistakes. Can I tell you, a mistake is just that? It's called a mistake for a reason. It's called a mistake for a reason. We live with mistakes. We live with regrets. We do all of those sorts of things that make it difficult for us to move forward into the future. So you learn to forgive yourself, you all. Almost every day you need to say, you know what, I forgive myself for allowing myself to be locked to the things that really didn't have control over me. I forgive myself for allowing myself to be locked to the things that really didn't have control over me. Can I tell you all, that thing just came to me and I almost want to jump from out in front of this screen. I forgive myself for allowing myself to be locked to the things that really didn't have control over me in the first place. And so then, let me now understand what self-love is. Let me not find it so difficult to live in that space of self-love. And let me march on, because self-love really is an important thing. I forgive myself for allowing myself to be locked to the things that did not have power over me in the first place. I conceded and gave in and gave away my power. But self-love is important, you all. It's important because it teaches us. It teaches us what self-esteem really looks like. It teaches us to have confidence, so that if I have self-esteem, if I have confidence, I can face my hopes and my dreams and my goals with this conviction that says I'm worth the thing that I'm pursuing. Because if I don't see that I'm worth pursuing, or if I don't see that I'm worth the thing that I'm pursuing, then somewhere along the line, I'm going to let the ball drop. I'm going to let it slip through the cracks, because I started after it and I really didn't see myself worthy of having it in the first place. But when you learn to love yourself, you develop this self-esteem and you develop this confidence that says, it gives you the conviction that says, the thing that I'm going after, the hope that I'm pursuing, the dream I'm pursuing, I'm worthy of having it. And you don't mind taking risks because you have that conviction, which is fueled by the fact that you are worthy. And it is also important to have self-love, not only just for the notion and the fact of having self-esteem and confidence, but it really helps your whole well-being. Do you not know that when you love yourself, you're going to strive to take care of yourself, and the things that would once cause you anxiety and cause all kinds of pressure and depression, you're going to say, let me face that. Let me tackle that head on. Let me deal with that. So the things that would once cause me anxiety and depression, I need to deal with those things. I need to learn how to reduce those things so that I can increase the self-satisfaction that is taking place in my life. So that I know how to deal with adversities when they come. Because now the fact that I love myself and that I'm engaged in self-love, it helps me with my overall well-being, my emotional well-being, my mental well-being, my psychological well-being, my physical well-being. Do you not know that when you love yourself, you would take care of yourself better physically, better mentally, better emotionally, better financially, better intellectually? You strive to take care of yourself, because every day when you wake up, you say, you know what? You are worth living for today. You are worth living for today. I'm living for myself because I'm worth living for. Sometimes we do things for other people and we say, I'm doing it for X, Y, and Z. I'm doing it for him, her, or them. But sometimes you need to wake up and say, what I'm doing today, I'm doing it for me because I'm worth having it. And when you develop that self-concept, or that self-esteem, it allows you to really then engage in healthy relationships, because you just don't give yourself away to people who are not worth having you or worthy of having you. You see yourself as something valuable, as a commodity, as an asset, and then you engage in healthy relationships. You don't let any and everybody in your personal space and in your circles, because you realize, you know what, I have value. I have value. And my value, thank you, Paula D, my value is not to be misconstrued as arrogance, but it is a recognition that the Creator placed me here. There's value in me. You're right, Queenita. Sometimes they call you bougie and all these other things when you engage in self-love. But let them talk, and you keep on loving yourself. Keep on encouraging yourself. Keep on engaging in self-care. Keep on fostering your own personal growth, because that is what self-love will do. Self-love will empower you to say, you know what, I'm going to pursue my passions. I'm going to go after the things that I want to do. I'm going to make sure that I set goals. I'm going to strive for those goals. I'm going to make sure that my life is lined up with the things that are important for me, with the things, with those things that I consider core values. I'm going to make sure that there's some alignment between how I behave and what I consider values. So you now engage in growth because you realize that you're worth growing. You're beyond getting stuck. How do we do that, Cutler? How do we do that? I don't have a lot of time, but there's some things that you ought to be able to look within yourself and see that you love. Whereas last week we talked about the things that we don't love. Make a list of the things that you love about yourself. Really this week, and I may ask us to come back and share these next week, you all. So let's do that. Let's make a list of the things that we love about ourselves. I don't have much longer, just a few seconds, but what about things like I love the fact that I'm not afraid to take a risk. I love that. I love the fact that I'm not afraid to travel alone, that I'm spontaneous, that I'm adventurous. Listen, yes, even at this age, I would go hang gliding off the side of a sand dune. Put me behind a boat, I'll go jet skiing on the water. Put me up in a helicopter and I'll scale down. I'm not going to jump out in a parachute, not just yet. But I'm adventurous, and I love the fact that I'm adventurous. And I love the fact that I don't mind doing adventurous things, and I don't need anyone to do those things with me. I can just take off and do those things by myself. I love the fact that I can look over my journey and realize that I'm resilient, that I have the ability to allow things to just bounce back off my back and roll like water off of a duck's back. I love those things. I love the fact that I know how to that I can embrace diversity and differences, cultures and ethnicities. I love all of that. I love the fact that I am self-motivated, that I'm self-driven. I'm just throwing out this, you all, so that you can start making a list of the things that you love about yourself. And I wonder if each of us can come up with 25 things that we love about ourselves. I love the fact that I don't mind laughing publicly. Because I think about the times growing up, and sometimes you have to look at where you were versus where you are, and be thankful that you are where you are as opposed to where you were. I remember growing up and people trying to stifle my ability to laugh and to be happy and to express that. So I love the fact that I can laugh when I see something funny. I love the ability that I can communicate. I love the fact that I can communicate my emotions. I love learning new things. I love the fact that I'm spiritual, that I'm a spiritual person. I love the fact that I am not intimidated by new things and new situations. I love the fact that I strive to be my best, even in the worst of situations, recognizing that worst situations will show up. I want you all to think about these things over the course of the week. Make a list of what you love about yourself. And we're going to come back next week and talk about those, because I'm interested in hearing those things. You all, why don't you keep doing what you do? Let's keep building community and maintaining connectivity. Make sure that you keep your head up, keep your hopes up, stay safe and stay sane, and know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. I will see you next week when we talk more about the things that you love about yourself. Invite somebody, would you, to come on and let's talk to Cutler. I'll see you all next week. Good night.